Hello and welcome to the U.S. Soccer Podcast. My name is David Goss, and this is the show where we take you inside the U.S. men's and women's national team at every level, and it is best because of my co-host. And we've got both of them with us right now. We've got World Cup winner Meghan Klingenberg and 66-time capped Philadelphia Union captain Ale Bedoya. How you guys doing?
Doing good. Just coming off the weekend, feeling like I had lovely weather. My mom's coming to visit in this upcoming weekend, which is the first time. So we are frantically cleaning and getting ready for that. How about you, Ale?
Yeah, I'm feeling great as well. We're coming off a weekend where we got a big win against New England Revolution, a much-needed win after, how the last weekend and earlier in the week we missed out on going to the finals of the Open Cup. So we needed this victory. So the team is back, got its mojo back, I feel. So we're looking to close out the regular season strong. So I'm excited.
Ale, I just want you to know that we all agree that you're solo video that you did after the Open Cup semifinal loss in one of the toughest weeks in, I think, professional sports history. But I assume in your career was an MVP moment for this show. So we appreciate you.
No worries. Yeah.
But that wasn't all you've done for the show, Ale. We got coming up from September 15th to October 15th is National Hispanic American Heritage Month. And on today's show, we have Ale speaking to USMNT and Seattle Sounders midfielder Cristian Roldan about how he celebrates his Latino roots. Ale, you two had a great conversation. In this chat, and a small spoiler ahead, you revealed that your first ever soccer jersey was a Carlos Valderrama shirt. For listeners who don't know the lore, tell us who he was and why he is so special to Colombian fans like you.
Yeah, Carlos Valderrama, a.k.a. El Pibe, right? I mean, this guy was legendary, a true icon who elevated the game of football for Colombians. But all over the world, really, he took Colombian soccer team to new heights, was an inspiration worldwide. I mean, what more iconic can you get from, imagining that fro, the wig. I had the wig, the Valderrama wig as a kid, rocking it at the 94 World Cup. And look, he was just, his precision of his passes, the way he made the game look so slow. He was so nice on the ball. He had elite ball handling skills. The way he controlled balls under pressure, his vision, putting through balls for guys like Asprilla. Just a big chance creator. And he was just a pivotal guy for the national team for so many years. I think he participated in 3 World Cups. I think to this day, he is still the most capped Colombian player. So this guy, he's just an icon, really. And I got to meet him in person. And, sometimes they say don't meet your idols. Yeah. But no, I couldn't have been happier to have met Valderrama. I mean, he just oozes charisma and passion and just such a positive attitude. It's incredible. So truly, he's somebody that Colombians continue to look up to this day. And I know he's a huge fan of the current Colombian team. And he got me on board to becoming a soccer fan because he was the first player that I really fell in love with.
Were you starstruck?
I was starstruck. We've had conversations, over virtual, but that was my first time meeting him. Thank you to US Soccer making it happen out in New York. Really having a sit-down conversation. I was able to get his autograph here and there down in South Florida. We showed up to training a few times, but this was it was amazing to spend time with him and just learn more about the person, not just the footballer.
And let me ask you this, because I think one of the beautiful things about the sport in this country is you have people who are purely passionate about multiple teams, whether it's because you've moved to the U.S. in life or your parents. And I know for you, USMNT legend and Colombian national team fan, like what is that experience like for you to have this excitement, this energy, these teams that you follow, and then fusing them together? Because it feels like, I was at the USA-South Korea game, like you have the Spanish chants from fans who grew up like you and had that connection. You have chants that come from other parts of Europe and Asia and all of that. I think it's one of the coolest parts about being a U.S. soccer fan, and I was curious about your experience living through it.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I think it's the beauty of soccer. It's the world's beautiful game for a reason. I think I grew up to two Colombian parents, so it was only right that my first exposure to soccer was the Colombian national team, the Colombian League, and a team of that nature, '94 World Cup. I mean, when you look back, I was a little bit young to understand at that point, but that '94 Colombian World Cup team was supposed to be, they were like a favorite in the World Cup. And of course, as a national team fan, US team, we had a major upset in that tournament. So credit to that squad. But yeah, Colombia, that's who made me become passionate about the game and love the game. Going around, like I said, as a kid with the Valderrama wig on, cheering for Colombia. That's what got me into soccer. I was building that passion for the game. Colombia has a rich heritage. I'm proud of my roots. So I got to be able to cheer for both teams. And over the course of my career, I got to play against Colombia actually four times. Four times I got to play against Colombia. And I just remember, I think the first time I got to play against them was actually here in Philly. And my grandfather had the Colombian shirt. He actually told me that he was rooting for Colombia, but that maybe I could play well. But yeah, those group chats for the times that we got to play against Colombia, I got to play against them in London and Copa America as well, were just such memorable moments for me and my family. It was incredible.
Kling, they say never meet your heroes. Have you ever met your heroes? Who was your jersey that you wore as a kid?
I didn't have as many options as Ali growing up because I really wanted to, my parents weren't into soccer. They had never even heard of it before I started playing, really. And so we didn't have that rich history of soccer in my house, but we loved the U.S. women's national team. But there just wasn't as many jerseys then. But there was Mia Hamm's jersey. So I did have Mia Hamm's jersey. And when you say don't meet your heroes, completely agree with Ali on this one. If Mia Hamm's your hero, meet Mia Hamm because she's awesome. There was this full circle moment one time where her family lives in California. We had a camp out there and she invited all of the Tar Heels on the national team over for dinner. And I was like, this has to be the coolest moment of my life. I'm eating dinner in Mia Hamm's kitchen with Nomar Garcia Parra and the rest of my UNC teammates. How much cooler can this be? But I will say Mia has been such a great role model, inspiration, and she's just a really great human who definitely does not love the spotlight, but has taken up that mantle and I feel like has really led the sport forward, even though that's not something she would have ever asked for.
Did you ask her to sign your jersey?
So I didn't have that little jersey that's literally this big with me, but I have a few other things signed by Mia Hamm.
Okay.
They are definitely, treasured kind of objects back at my parents' house. And that's why whenever kids come up to me and are like, sign this, I'm like, okay, yeah, sure. Because, it's such a cool thing that they might keep forever.
And now that we are multi-generation into soccer, you are hearing these stories of when they were a child, X person had this. I think the pictures came out of Claire Hutton, I think, as a child, and Ali Sentnor, friends, but then also going to pro games and taking photos with people they now play professional soccer with. I assume, Ali, you've had the Philly experience of kids who become academy kids, who become teammates, and it all comes back around pretty quickly now because we have built soccer on multiple generations in the United States. And a lot of that was done because of the energy that you get from the Hispanic community and has helped keep soccer alive in the U.S. and now grow to its highest levels we've ever had. So we're going to talk to Cristian Roldan. I know Cristian very well. He's one of my favorites in the sport in the world. And I know you know him very well as well, Ale. What is it like to play against him on the field before we hear you guys be friendly and talk off the field?
Yeah, to play against him, yeah, he's had incredible success here in MLS for Seattle. He's the perfect player for that club. I mean, he can do it all. He's a versatile player. Can play a variety of positions in the midfield, even along the back line. Just a hard worker. He's always willing to put a shift in for that team, for Seattle. He's a great passer. He's got good vision. Reads the game really well, but two-way player, really, he can get it done offensively and also defensively. He's always in the right spots, being able to track back, closing passing lanes. Like I said, he just reads the game really, really well. He's also, for his height, maybe not the tallest guy, but he's really good with his head. So off set pieces, he's a guy that gets in the box and makes things happen well. So he's just, like I said, just a valuable asset, not just for Seattle, but I think for any team that would have him on his team. He's a guy that can fill wherever is needed. And he truly is a vital part of why Seattle has been so successful over the years.
Genuinely someone where you're like, I think he'd die for this team on the field and give everything up. My joke has always been he could play shortstop or center field or free safety, and he'd probably help a team win because he just would do anything for his team. And it's awesome seeing him bring that to the U.S. men's national team. Won the Leagues Cup, got the call up late for this camp. We saw him on the field, and he got the chance to sit down with you as well. So let's go to our interview now with USMNT midfielder Cristian Roldan.
Let's just start off off the top. Cristian, great to have you here. Thanks for taking the time. We're here to talk with you about Hispanic Heritage Month and how our culture has impacted our style of play, our careers. But I wanted to start off by asking you this: what's your earliest World Cup memory? I'm imagining you as a fan, maybe watching with your family, your friends. What was it like growing up?
I remember for me, my fondest and most special memory was watching Mexico play um, South Africa in the World Cup in South Africa. And it was so special to me because my dad let me stay home from school that day. And he essentially said, we're choosing soccer over school today. The World Cup is starting. This is a big deal. I want you to feel inspired. And it was just awesome to be there with my little brother watching such a unique moment for us. And, it felt especially cool that Shabalala scored that banger, and we're celebrating it. And so, yeah, that was my fondest memory and one of my earliest memories of being at the of watching the World Cup.
Absolutely. It must have been amazing. You mentioned seeing it with your brother, who I'm sure that Shabalala goal was very inspirational to both of you, having being able to play now together with the Seattle Sounders. But I'd have to ask you now, who was your soccer hero growing up?
Believe it or not, it was Messi, and I got the luxury of being able to compete against him a couple weeks ago in a final, and for me, it was full circle moment, right? Seeing Messi play, at Barcelona at his peak, watching these guys um, compete against the very best, and not just compete, dominate, and to be able to share the same field as him, compete against him, win the ball against him was especially um, just fun to be a part of.
Yeah, he's truly is a special player. It's been amazing to watch his career. And speaking of Messi, I'm sure maybe you requested his jersey after the game, but do you remember who your first soccer jersey was? I remember for me, it was Carlos El Pibe Valderrama. I grew up in a Colombian household. We watched the Colombian team. That was a guy. I had the matching wig to match as well. What about yours?
Mine was Michael Bradley's actually. I had the number 4, old school collared jersey. It was amazing to. I mean, we talk about full circle moments, right? These are guys that you look up to since you were little. And again, we talk about full circle moments because we reach the national team, we reach playing in finals, and so again, I had the privilege of seeing him yesterday, and so again, that first jersey, and I still have it. It was especially important to me because it was someone I looked up to growing up.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, speaking of full circle, what a special moment that was for him and his family yesterday, being honored at the game. Um, you grew up in Pico Rivera in California, which is a big Hispanic community. What did soccer mean to your family and the community when you were growing up?
Yeah, we're a community of, I think, about 98% Hispanics. At least that's what my high school was. And, uh, our culture, our city is all about working hard, grit, fighting for either the next paycheck, the schoolwork, soccer. You carry those traits in everything that you do. And so for us, it carried over to soccer, right? We were always told, hey, you got to work hard. You got to make every single training session. There are no excuses. You're never late to school. Those are the traits that I still carry to this day because of my family, our Latin culture. Uh, and so when it comes to soccer, right, I think you see it in my game. I'm about intensity. I'm about working hard. I'm about getting to tackles, making the people around me better. And so soccer was so important for me growing up. It created so many long-lasting friendships, but also it taught me how to communicate and work as a team. And so, that's just part of our culture, right? It's part of our blood, and I see it in your game as well.
Absolutely. No, I totally agree with that sentiment. And how did it feel you connected to the other people in the community?
Yeah, it was nice, right, to be able to share a lot of those same characteristics. All my friends, right, um, were essentially first generation, Americans, right? Speaking English and Spanish as you grow up, learning English in school, uh, you know, and Spanish being your first language, right? These are things that we shared common ground in, and um, it feels really nice when you're in an environment like that. You don't feel out of your comfort zone, and it wasn't until I got out of the city, out of Pico Rivera, when I went to college, is when I kind of felt a bit uncomfortable, which was also good. But as you grow up, it's always nice to have a real nice environment for you to grow up in.
Yeah, absolutely. Was playing soccer ever not an option for you?
No, absolutely not, right? Um, we as kids we tried to play other sports, and our parents were just like, "Nope, you're way too good at soccer." It's kind of in our culture, and I'm glad that they kind of pushed us along that way, because now we have, two brothers that are playing professional sports, professional soccer, and another one who's, the athletic trainer for the LA Galaxy. I mean, soccer's in our blood. Whether we're playing it or we're around it or watching it, we're always involved in sports and soccer. And so, kudos to my parents for really pushing us to pursue being good at something. They never thought that we'd be where we're at, but that's the kind of standard that they set as we were kids.
Yeah, absolutely. And you touched on this earlier, but I want to harp back on it a little bit. So, if you could give us a little bit more details, how does your heritage impact your style of play?
Yeah, my heritage is all about, working hard, family oriented, you know, putting every ounce of effort into your craft, whether it's soccer, whether it's something else. But for me, obviously, my job is to, uh, play soccer at a really high level, bring people together as a family, which is a huge, huge part of our heritage. We want people to feel comfortable. We want to laugh, to love. And soccer brings that out. When you're losing, when you're winning, you still have that sense of responsibility to um, be there for one another, to work hard into getting better, to showing that grit on the field. All these characteristics I carry over, and I'm proud to show that kind of culture and heritage into my game each and every game day.
Yeah, look, I couldn't agree more with that sentiment. I think I can relate to my family, right? Both my parents immigrated here from Colombia. You spoke a lot about the grit, the determination, the commitment, knowing how much they sacrificed to come to America, to live out this American dream. My father wanted to become a professional soccer player, so he kind of lives vicariously through me. But all these traits and all these values they taught me when I was growing up is how I kind of translated that on the field, right? effort, never compromise, right? Those are the non-negotiables you must always have. Be able to just be there for your teammates, support, and that's how you bring other people around you, right? To lead by example. And you've had a fantastic career, and the way you go about every single game, you're always going to bring it 110%, and that's something I really, really admire and appreciate about you. So would you say that does that heritage give you an edge?
Absolutely. Heritage always gives me an edge. I live with that chip on the shoulder. You know, I as you know, we never thought that we'd be here, right? And we're not the most athletic. We're not the um, probably best player on the field each and every game, right? But what you're gonna get is a certain standard because of our culture, how we were raised. Um, we were taught to take advantage of every situation. We were taught to not take things lightly. The way we train is because the way we grew up, what the sacrifices that our parents had to do to get here, the little that they had, and seeing that firsthand, going back to El Salvador, going back to Guatemala, and seeing where they were brought up, and to see where we're at now, like it just all that accumulates, and it then drives you to be the hardest working player on the field. And so my heritage, my culture has absolutely gives me an edge on the field. I want to be the hardest working player each and every game. I want to be the one that brings that intensity and makes people around me a whole lot better.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, and don't downplay yourself, man. You're pretty athletic. You cover a lot of ground, and I know me and we're underestimated for the how good we are at winning headers because you're dangerous on all set pieces. You get up there, it's all about timing, and you do very well for yourself there. So don't downplay your athleticism there. But speaking about our Hispanic backgrounds, let's talk about Hispanic fan culture. What would you say makes Latino fans so special? I'm sure you could probably hear your mom screaming at you in the stands. Our mothers tend to be very outspoken.
Absolutely. My mom will always ask more of me. And that's the beauty of having um Latin parents, fans, never satisfied, I would say, which can be seen as a negative, but I certainly think of it as a positive. They expect a lot out of you. But in general, fans are proud, fans are loud, fans, will root for you. And then when it gets tough, right, to win them back, you need to give it your all, right? You need to get results. You need to show that you care. And once you show that you care, once you show that you are putting everything on the line, oh, they'll back you up 100%. But it is a beautiful thing, seeing Latin fans, at our games and rooting for us because you know this is the American dream, right? We this is where we want to be, and we want to make our culture and our heritage proud by wearing this crest because of the sacrifices that our parents had to make.
Absolutely. And look, they bleed this game, they're so passionate and I love being able to feed off of that energy and that passion and America is the land of immigrants. There's such an amazing melting pot. How does it feel to have other Hispanic fans cheering for you when you're representing the US?
Yeah, it's amazing, right? When you're wearing the U.S. jersey, and there are Colombian fans, there are Argentinian fans, Mexican fans that have immigrated here and now rooting for the U.S. Man, it brings everybody together, right? Like that's the beauty of the United States. Whether it's Latino fans, whether it's you know, people that have immigrated from Asia, all different types of people are coming together to root for the same national team. And that is a beautiful thing, and we hope to make those people proud, but especially the Latino fans. It's always nice, and I'm always proud to kind of carry that culture and heritage into the game, because we're so unified once we put on this jersey, or we represent the U.S.
Absolutely. And speaking of representing and all these cultures coming here, next summer, we all know the World Cup will be held in the USA, Canada, and Mexico. Tell us why that will be so special to Hispanic fans here in the US and all over the world.
It would be so special to, in general, to host the World Cup, because a we're growing the game so much, as you see with MLS, as you see with the national team. We're getting so much more notoriety, and then we're seeing that trickle down to the youth, right? And you know we both probably know that our um the way we kind of grew up with soccer wasn't as clear as what it is today. And we hope that it continues to get better after the World Cup, right? So it's going to influence so many people. It's going to motivate so many kids, and grow the game so much more, whether it's, with Latinos specifically, in, neighborhoods that don't quite have the resources, or, just any other neighborhood that has that soccer isn't as popular. So it's a beautiful thing that we're getting to host it, and we have to take full advantage of it. We need to show up. We need to make the entire world proud, to be able to host a World Cup like this.
Yeah, absolutely. And I cannot wait to see all these different kind of Latino countries and here in the States, just the energy, the vibes. We all know whoever, I don't know who the DJ is right now in the locker room there for you guys in the national team, but we all know reggaeton has a big vibe in here culturally in the States as well. So I can't wait to see all those vibes during the World Cup from all different countries. But last thing, Christian, what's your favorite Hispanic food to eat while you're watching a game? I mean, for me, obviously, I already mentioned Colombian background. So whenever I hear la bandeja paisa or empanadas or arepa, I'm all over it. Like, give it to me right now. I'm getting hungry thinking about it. What's your go-to?
You have me salivating right now. I'm quite hungry, so I would love that for dinner right now. But to be quite honest with you, pupusas is a must for me. Pupusas my mom makes them. It's such a unique food that Salvadorians make. It comes from El Salvador, and whenever I get the chance to go home, that is the first dish I ask my mom to make. And it reminds me of soccer, right? That's what we all sit around the TV, and we eat pupusas. And so I'm kind of craving that right now. I'd love that, but I got a game to prepare for in a couple days.
Yeah, yeah. Mama Dukes will be happy hearing this, but we do eat a lot of fried foods.
Yes,
Maybe not
yes,
the
we do.
best, but yeah, I'm getting hungry just thinking about it.
Check engine, ABS, or maintenance light on? And O'Reilly Auto Parts is right around the corner. O'Reilly Auto Parts can help take the guesswork out of your vehicle's check engine, ABS, or maintenance light with O'Reilly Veriscan, a free service that only takes a couple of minutes to complete. You'll receive a free, easy-to-read report with solutions based on over 650 million vehicle scans that have been verified by ASE-certified master technicians. O'Reilly Veriscan can identify the most likely problem with just one scan. The professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts can then recommend the parts and tools you need to do the repair right the first time. And if you're not comfortable doing the repair yourself, they can recommend a local shop for you. Don't ignore check engine, ABS, or maintenance light. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts and ask for O'Reilly Veriscan today, a free service exclusively at O'Reilly Auto Parts. All right, we're back with Ali Bedoya and Kling. We've got our Ask the Pro segments coming up. But first, a reminder, the final of the 2025 Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup is set. Tune in Wednesday, October 1st to see whether Nashville SC or Austin FC will capture a first trophy in club history. Coverage is on Paramount Plus and CBS Sports Network. It begins at 7 p.m. Eastern, followed by kickoff from Q2 Stadium, which is going to be electric in Austin at 8. Visit usopencup.com for comprehensive coverage of the 110th Open Cup final. That is history. But when you talk about family history, it's a little bit different. So, Ale, you talked to Cristian Roldan there. And Cristian, lucky enough to play right now with his brother Alex, who actually plays for the El Salvador national team. But the two of them team up for the Seattle Sounders. There was a cool moment in the Leagues Cup final where Seattle earned a penalty against Miami, big game, and Cristian goes and takes the ball. Hasn't taken a penalty in years in a full game. And, you know, everyone starts chirping him, questioning him. And then he does that thing where shot's ready to be taken. He hands it to his brother, Alex. Alex steps up. He puts it in. They win the game. I thought it was really cool. We've seen Christian Pulisic do this in the past. We've seen Tyler Adams do it. But I thought it was really cool because they're brothers and, you know, big brother defending little brother. And I know both of you have siblings. Kling, you think you could play with your sibling on a field?
I love Drew. He is such a gem. He's like literally one of my favorite people as we've gotten older. And in our more advanced years, I still don't think that we could handle it. Like there were times growing up where fists were thrown, spit was being spit. Like we would challenge the rules. We would challenge the score. We would challenge each other. There was just no calmness to our competitions. And honestly, that's the way that our parents are as well. Game nights are very infrequent around our house these days. So I can't imagine Drew and I getting into a team and I actually, maybe if we were on the same team, it would be better than if we were playing against each other. But still, I have a feeling he would bug me.
It might be like your national team thing where you said up until the roster cut, everyone's against each other, and then the roster gets made, and then all that energy gets fused and pointed directly at Thailand or whoever's on the other side of the field right out the gate. Ali, you play with brothers currently right now. What have you seen from that relationship?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I just allude to my personal history, right? My brother's 2 years younger than me. He played collegiate as well. I played at BC. He was at Northeastern. He actually got drafted by the Vancouver Whitecaps. Yeah. It didn't pan out for him, but yeah, we were super competitive. I mean, physically, I was obviously the older brother, bigger, so I try to, bully him a little bit, but he'd return the favor by attacking me verbally. I have big ears, so he'd always try to get at me and say, like, "Hey, Dumbo," and all this type of stuff. But I think similar to Cristian, he's a left footer, right? So I think I would have been the kind of guy that would protect him. Pick up the ball, take the slack, and then give it to him to finish it off on a PK. And that's similar how it is here in Philly. We have the Sullivan brothers, Quinn and Kevin. Quinn obviously having a great season, and Kevin, of course, hopefully is going to be pan out to become the U.S. men's soccer star, and he's got great potential, a lot of talent. But you find that older brother protecting younger brother vibe. Quinn is very protective of him. When somebody maybe gets a little bit tasty tackle stuck in there with Kevin, he's up there trying to defend him, and he'll make sure that guy who tackled him feels it the next time. So
this makes me feel like I have to up my sister game. I was talking about how we're gonna fight on the field and everybody else be protecting their brothers. I mean, I gotta get my sibling status up.
No, the challenge is what creates greatness. You've chosen a different coaching style. Some coaches are come in, be soft and sweet. Others are, you're not good enough. Be better. I dare you. And then they walk away. And that's clearly the Klingenberg style, which I think would shock all of us if that would be the case of what you would be like. My sister's my best friend. We get along perfectly, but we're also yin and yang. So we're different. I think all of you had more like, you did the same things in the same ways. She's smart and I'm talkative. And so we were never really in each other's way too often. Going back to that interview though, Ali, you talked a little bit about game time snacks and whatnot. So I have a question for both of you. Who of all your teammates was the best cook that you ever had? And Ali, we'll start with you.
All right. Yeah. Look, I haven't played with many players who are good cooks or chefs, and I'm definitely not one of them. I just know how to maybe make an egg, and that's about it. But I would have to say on my team right now, Kai Wagner. We barbecue a lot over the summers, and I let him handle the grill whenever I have people over. He's the one cooking up on the grill.
Okay. Kling?
Well, I don't mean to toot my own horn, but I will. I think that I possibly might be like one of the better cooks to have come through the NWSL, because I've played with a lot of players, and I have some younger, teammates that were like, "Yeah, I love cooking Italian." And my family's Italian. We would go over my grandma's house every Sunday, and she would cook an Italian meal for 4 generations of my family. And so I know what good Italian food is like. And this teammate would be like, "Yeah, it's so easy." I'm like, "What do you mean it's easy? It would take my grandma all day. We would have sauce days, and it would take forever. And then I'd have to roll all the meatballs, and I'd be in the kitchen for hours." She's using canned sauce and the pasta that you get out of the box. And I was like, "I'm so sorry. That is not Italian. That's American." And so I had to teach them a little bit how this actually works.
So what's your signature dish?
I love cooking like a marinara sauce or like a brown butter sage sort of situation, or like a really nice pesto. But we dabble in other things as well in our house.
Ale, just let me know what time we're going over for Kling's meal, because I think it sounds like she's hosting team dinner.
Do you bake as well, Kling?
You mean like desserts and stuff?
Yeah.
No, I don't do as much dessert baking, but I do like a lot of sauces, a lot of Italian stuff, a lot of tacos, and I'm learning Thai now because my girlfriend, she's half Thai, and she's teaching me kind of like all the food that she grew up with, and now we're kind of fusing our two like heritages together and calling it Thai-Italian.
Are we talking like pad Thai bolognese? Like, is this what's happening?
I don't think we've gotten that outrageous yet.
Okay.
But I'm learning about new foods like miso and all these different things that are used in Asian cooking. And exactly. And now I'm like taking that into my Italian cooking. And honestly, it's like made a world of a difference.
David, I'm getting hungry.
Yeah, I volunteer as tribute if you need someone to test on. Don't worry, Ale, you can get out of here in just a moment. But first, we've got our last thing to do, which is our Ask the Pros segment, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts. This is where you can ask questions for me, Kling, or Ale, and we'll get back to you and answer it on the show. The first question's for me. Isn't that so cool? It's from Adam in LA. It says, for aspiring broadcasters or podcasters looking to break into the soccer media world, what's the one piece of advice you'd give based on your journey with MLS and beyond? And it's work. Go out and do things. Like it feels really hard to break in. There's not as much coverage of soccer as there should be in the U.S. If you live in LA, go to Angel City games, go to LAFC games, go to Galaxy games, go to Orange County games, cover things, meet people, and do the work that you want to do, because you're not going to be perfect at it yet. But if you start doing it, it's the only way to practice, and start putting your work out there and let other people find it and let other people connect to you. And that is how you continue to move on in the industry. But everyone will tell you like, oh, you have to be at this perfect place. And everyone wants to work out the gate at a huge network and all of that. It just matters that you're good at what you do. And you can only sharpen those skills if you go and do them. So create your own platform and start doing it when you get the opportunity. Let's go down to Dallas now. Christy, a question here for Kling, who says, you've been a strong voice for equal pay and gender equity. What's the next frontier in sports activism that you think needs urgent attention?
I love that question. I feel like the work isn't done. We're always pushing forward to create a more even playing field and to create a starting line where everybody gets to start at the same place. So we're going to continue pushing forward and making sure that women's sports gets the same investment, the same resources as men's sports, and hopefully gets to the point where the pay is the same. And then ultimately, I think I want to make sure that sports are for all. I think that certain groups of people, like trans people, are being pushed out of sport, and sports are one of the best things that could happen to a kid. I don't know why we would ever lock any kids out of playing. We learn teamwork, we learn hard work, we learn how to invest in something that's bigger than ourselves. And those are so much more important than winning or losing or skills or tactics or any of those things. So I just want to make sure that soccer is open for everybody. It seems like the most accessible sport because all you need is a body and a ball to play. And I just feel like it's made for everybody. And so everybody should be allowed to be a part of the game.
Yeah, absolutely. Christy, thank you for that question. We have one last one here from Mario in Portland. And I think it's interesting in talking at the start here, Ale, about your fandom as a young Colombia fan in the U.S. And now in your career, you've played in Europe in a couple different countries, and now you've played in the U.S. for a long time with Philadelphia. How do fan cultures differ, and what do you think MLS can learn from those experiences is Mario's question.
Yeah, no, I think it's great. That's coming from Portland because I was going to say that one of the major differences is more that in Europe, it's more of a deep-rooted passion, right? A lot of these clubs and teams have been around for hundreds of years, some of them, right? So there's this long-standing tradition, loyalty, and unique identity that comes with supporting your local team. Whereas MLS teams, I mean, the league's only been around for 30 years, but, a team like Portland, for example, before there was MLS, of course, there was deep-rooted passion in their community around soccer. They're a soccer team. But I think the biggest difference for me is just the kind of the passionate fan zones and the original chants that come from these European teams, whereas MLS is coming in its own, right? And there's MLS has done great in terms of the new infrastructure that they've built, the new stadium experiences. We've seen kind of these standing room only sections in stadiums like Cincinnati, Minnesota, Columbus, some of the more newer ones. Portland obviously has their own kind of section where the fans are chanting all game long, large scale displays, banners, which is incredible. I think generally American culture, right, is a little bit more, I guess, commercialized, if you will. It's seen more as like the game is, and you're going there to entertain, for families to sit down and grab a beer or soda and eat their popcorn or nachos. That's not really the case so much really in Europe, although it's still a thing. But MLS has done a great, I think, especially the new franchises and taking what works in Europe and then building onto that here in the States to create that kind of passion and a community connection with the local teams.
3 incredible questions from our fans because we love the engagement and interaction. If you have a question and you want to ask the pros, drop our partners at Westwood One a DM on Instagram at Westwood One Sports. And don't forget to follow us. We'll see you next week on the US Soccer Podcast. So like and subscribe so you get all your updates and you never miss an episode.